Fly, little bird, will you come and see me? Fly, little bird, a window will be open when you return. Scatter your seeds, let them go. How the wind may travel, you will never know. Breathe in to your core. Breathe in and out once more before you fly, little bird. I will always love you. Fly, little bird. Angels will be with you. Paint your wings on the sky. Sing a song as you fly. Oh, little bird. Just remember to return to sip the waters of this endless spring of love before you fly, little bird. I know I cannot keep you. Fly, little bird. You'll be welcomed home when you return. Oh, little bird, fly, fly, little bird. Thank you. That was an original song for you. I had actually planned to do a different original song, but this one spoke to me as we were going through the service, so. But if you come out and see me at one of my other concerts, you will hear the other song. Okay.
We're going to have to get on your itinerary next year.
I'm going to have to get a bus big enough to bring you all with me.
Yes. Woo. So good morning. Look at all you bright, smiling faces out there. So today, I'm going to do a version of my annual Journey Home lesson. Since it's annual meeting, we're going to be talking about our spiritual home. Home, we all know the saying that home is where the heart is, do we not? Home is a special place, a place that draws you to it. Because at the core of your being, you know that home is where you belong. I consider Florida my home, and this area in particular. I was raised here. I was raised out in the orange groves of Seminole, out on the beaches at Madeira Beach. My first memories are out on Madeira Beach. I've lived in Largo, I've lived in St. Pete, I've lived all over this area. And this is where I call home. But I know whenever I have been gone for a while, I was gone for many years, off to Michigan and Mississippi and Missouri and Kansas and Wyoming and all over the place. I've lived all over this country. And I noticed that when I was becoming home, I'd be driving back for a visit with my family or my friends. When I crossed the state line, my body would automatically go, I'm home. I'm coming home. I'd get that feeling of coming home. And that, for me, was a feeling when I found Unity Church and Unity teachings. When I heard, you've all heard this, most of you have heard this story before, when I heard Les Saunders, the minister up there speaking, it was just, I've come home. I have never heard this before, except in my heart. Nobody has ever spoken those words. I've never heard this before, except what I believed in my beliefs of how the world worked. That's why I was out traveling around. I had spiritual teachers. I was in this society, that society, finding what it was that was my spiritual home. And I found it. And that was Unity. We all look for our spiritual home. And most of us have found it here in this church in particular, because it speaks to our soul. Your soul has been looking for a place to rest, to be nourished, to be infilled, and to be inspired. And for whatever reason, we have chosen here. It's here that you belong. And you know this on a soul level. This is where you belong, in these teachings, right now with these people, because this is where you are going to be empowered to be the blessing that you are. You are going to be empowered to go out and do what it is that Spirit would have you do. And you're going to go out and do that because your soul is on a journey. And your journey is to be whatever it is that Spirit has put you on this planet to be. Now your soul, your spiritual presence has been on a journey. It's gone far and away. It's gone to that faraway country to see what the world has to offer. Many of us have explored many different teachings and spiritual practices and thises and that's and the other things. It's had many adventures. You face many dangers and had many meaningful moments. But always when there comes a quiet time where the things of the world fade and settle. And there is a deep desire to return home to the truth of your being. Return home to your God essence. This journey home is what we commonly call the spiritual path. And we're all here today because we're on a spiritual path. Every individual on this planet is on a spiritual path. Some more conscious of it than others. We happen to be a bit more conscious, I hope. We're all here today because at some point in our lives, some point in our journey, we turned it over to Spirit. We let go and let God. We gave it to God. We were guided here to a teaching that makes sense. I know for me, that's one of the primary things. The teachings made sense. They're not My brother used to say, he was a great one. No, he was the day before he was to be ordained as I don't know if it was a Catholic priest or it was maybe an Episcopal priest. The day before he was to be ordained, he ran away and got married. Yeah. Whew. And he used to tell me, he said, David, that unity crap is just fluff. There's nothing to it. It's all Pollyanna. I said, Steve, if you think it's Pollyanna, you try doing it for a decade. It's not easy. Following the teachings is not easy. It's constantly checking yourself, looking at yourself, looking at your beliefs, modifying this and that and the other thing, looking at what you are believing and how you are and going, rats. I have to do it over again. And that's what happens when you're on the spiritual path. You're constantly doing it over again because you're changing. You do it over again and you think, yeah, this is it. This is cool. I like it. I understand most things. And then one of those things pop up that you need to understand, and it happens all over again. It's a continuous journey into enlightenment. We've chosen this teaching, even though it might not hold all of the answers. It empowers us into trust. And that's where your spiritual growth comes from. It comes from trust. Trust in the unconditional love of an all-providing power to see you through whatever it is that shows up in your life. And to use that, whatever it is, to create within you a greater strength, a greater understanding, a greater light, and a greater love through which you can live your life in these ever-changing circumstances and do so with grace, not necessarily ease, but with a greater wisdom to see you through. During your journey home, you may notice that you're living two lives. You're living from the outside in and from the inside out. I'm going to say that again. We are living two lives. We're living from the outside in and from the inside out. It's the worldly events that affects us from the outside in. We are affected by our surroundings. And when our surroundings take these effects, they create emotions, feelings. And we attach these emotions and feelings to our perceptions and our beliefs. Then we take our perceptions and our beliefs and we create our world, be it good or not so good. We take them into ourselves because we are who we are. And we create our world from who we are. And living from the outside in, there's a tendency to become lost. We can become lost in our fears, lost in our false beliefs, We can become confused about what is happening in our outside life because it's not in harmony because of the way we believe it should be. And when this question is met by the truth of your being, when it's met by the inner truth of spirit that you are, the eternal wisdom, the result is prayer. Prayer is the turnaround. Prayer is the turnaround from living from the outside in to living from the inside out. Prayer is the acknowledgement that there is a higher power that indeed holds what it is that we are searching for. Prayer is that acknowledgement of the truth of peace, of harmony, of wisdom and guidance and understanding. Prayer doesn't always come out like, oh God, take this from me, or oh God, change this person or change that person. Likely that ain't going to work. What works and what is most usually evident in prayer, I know it is for me, is that it's a releasing. It's a releasing and letting go and trusting Spirit to do the best for you and to acknowledge that Spirit is working within whatever circumstance or situation, working in that whatever it is to create the highest and best outcome, not only for ourselves, but for the whole of the human race. It shows a willingness to release, a release of perspectives, and an openness for a greater understanding of what is. That's one of the keys, folks. To be open to a greater understanding of what is. That's how Jesus the Christ lived. That's how the masters live. If you listen to the Dalai Lama, it's evident that's how he lives. We see in John 5:30, Jesus the Christ says, I can do nothing on my own. As I hear, I judge, and my judgment is because I seek not to do my own will, but the will of him who sent me. He gets out of the way and lets God do the work. Living from the inside out, they know the truth, and the truth sets them free from the limitations of the world. This is how Jesus the Christ was able to calm the storm. That's how he was able to walk on the water of a storm. This is how you are able to calm the storms that come up in your life by living from the inside out, by being open to what is, by knowing that God is in whatever is. God is, you are. My mentor, Jadra Price, used to say, God is ising all over the place. Ising is existing, expressing, being. You are ising right now. As we set aside our fears, our beliefs in lack, and anything that brings us outside of the truth of the one presence and one power, we rest in the knowledge of knowing that we are strengthened, we are emboldened, and we are brought to that peace that passes understanding. We are brought to that peaceful presence that is the truth of us, that exists and you know and can feel and experience when you are centered in your being. And from that center, you can know the truth. You can have that truth set you free. Free and to begin again, living life from the inside out. When you do that, you can get up from your chair and say, all righty then, let's get on with it. And you move forward into life, confident that whatever life brings, you can move through it. Because Spirit is at your side, and Spirit is closer than your side. Spirit is right here. Spirit is you. You can get on with it, holding the light the best you can, being the light the best you can. And if you can do that, you're doing good. Know the light the best you can. Be the light the best you can. And that will make a difference. And that, my friends, is all that's expected of you. Just that. But that's plenty. And God blesses you. Your turn. Yeah. Oh, 1 second. We have to do the love offering. Then you play. I have to catch up with myself once in a while. Okay, now is our time of love offering. Time where we are the abundant hand of God in action. We are the fullness of God's presence as abundance. And holding that consciousness, we know this truth. And we hold our tithes and gifts and offerings in our hands. If we don't have them in our hands, if we're at home at Zoom and being present here, we simply place our hands and our offerings over our heart, holding the idea of abundance. We join together in our love offering blessing as we all say, divine love moving through me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God. It's all yours.
Okay. This is a song by one of the greatest songwriters who ever walked the planet Earth and still does today, Dolly Parton. Wildflowers don't care where they grow. Well, the hills were alive with wildflowers, and I was wild, even wilder than they. Well, at least I could run. They just died in the sun, and I refused to just wither in place. Just a wild mountain rose needing freedom to grow. So I left, fearing not where I'd go. When a flower grows wild, it can always survive. Wildflowers don't care where they grow. And the flowers I knew in the fields where I grew were content to be lost in the crowd. They were common and close. I had no room for growth, and I wanted so much to branch out. I uprooted myself from my hometown and left, took my dreams and I took to the road. When a flower grows wild, it can always survive. Wildflowers don't care where they grow. Feel free to sing that part with me if you'd like. I grew up fast and wild, and I never felt right in a garden so different than me. I just never belonged, and I longed to be gone. So one day the garden set me free. I hitched a ride on the wind, and since she was my friend, I just let her decide where we'd go. When a flower grows wild, it can always survive. Here it comes. Wildflowers don't care where they grow. Just a wild mountain rose seeking mysteries untold. So I left, fearing not where I'd go. When a flower grows wild, it can always survive. Wildflowers don't care where they grow. Home is in your heart.